I can cook, I can clean.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, see, this is why I came to Thailand, to find a traditional woman.
Uh-oh.
See, in the United States,
Oh.
women don't cook and clean.
Oh.
All they do is complain. And we don't got time for that. That's why I got my passport. And I've left.
Talk to her,
I've
brother.
left the United States to come seek a wife to have a traditional relationship. So, here, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.
All right, here we go. Back at it again with another translation. Passport Bros translation. Now, this one comes to us from Germany. So, as you know, I'm going to use my iPhone in order to read each portion of this. Translate. It says, Passport Bro Trend. You are looking for traditional women. Okay, so that's the name of the story. All right, so let's read this part down here. It says, off social media, helping. I can't read no goddamn German. All right. It says, they have initiated discussions on social media. The so-called passport bros can no longer find traditional partners in their home countries. Now, any black man that's been to Germany knows that those German women are absolutely down to meet the passport bros. They know it. They know it. There's been a few black men who've gone over to Germany. Me personally, I haven't really gone to Europe. I don't give a shit about Europe. There's nothing in Europe I want to see. I mean, there's, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. I really don't want to see that. I don't care. There's, all those things in England, like there's like Trafalgar Square, and there's Big Ben, and there's the Royal. I don't care about any of that shit. If I had ever wanted to go to Europe, believe me, I already would have gone. Now, I have a sibling who actually speaks some conversational German, who actually went to school in Germany. But during that time they went to Germany, I went to China. I just wasn't interested in Europe at all. I got enough of those people right here in New York to deal with. So let's see. What's this part say? Translate. It says, videos with the passport bros go viral. They want a traditional woman from abroad who can cook and clean. Feminists look red. Now, my guess is red means angry. So it says, Feministinnen sehen rot. I don't know this. Okay, let's read the rest of this. Let's read this. I don't know if a man wrote this or a woman wrote this, but I'll find out later. Okay, let's see. Translation. It says, the men from the videos want a relationship with classic role distribution, but since they can't find such in their home countries, they are looking elsewhere. Their destinations are mostly countries in Asia or South America. Videos with the hashtag Passport Bros are currently going viral and are viewed millions of times. A so-called passport bro is the American Floyd, who is 25, on YouTube. He gives men tips on how to become part of the community. His videos are also shared on TikTok. In a recent published video, he presents his new girlfriend. I tell you, honestly, listening to myself read this, I kind of want to read this with like almost like an Adolf Hitlerish Nazi, a Nazi freaking, what is it called, accent. But, just for the sake of nobody claiming this is hate speech, I'll just try to refrain from that. Okay, I came to Thailand to find a traditional woman. In the United States, women don't cook and clean. They just complain. That's what Floyd said in the video preceding this. Okay, sex tourismus. Okay, I don't need to read German to understand what that means. Okay, is this sex tourism? Well, let's see. It says, feminists accuse men of traveling to economically worse countries to exploit the women there. Okay, let's stop right here. In the very last video that I made, where I showed you these women from America, not only you got the women going down to the Caribbean and they're laying on rafts with their butts tooted way up into the air like they're a roast turkey waiting to be patted down with butter. And then you got this other one who's saying, oh, all she wants is the tip. Just the tip can be put in, but the guy has to put a trash bag on top of his Johnson before the tip. Let me tell you something. I've never seen a man go to another country and degrade himself that badly? Like, really, you're going to use a trash bag as protection? I mean, what does that say about you? Tisk, tisk, tisk. And then you've got these old women who fly to Africa, just like I read in the last video. They're going to Gambia and Namibia and Uganda and Nigeria. You saw them on, what was it called? 90 Day Fiancé. Oh my goodness, these old grandmama looking Ethel and Cheryl, these old women are going there and they're finding these 20, 25-year-old African brothers and they're putting Trump boxer shorts on them. I could show you the clips on YouTube, but I think I already did actually, because I probably did it in the last video. And they're debasing themselves with these young Kenyan men, like, oh man, they're like 20, 25, 30-year-old. And these men, what's funny is these men, it's like very few of them actually really want a green card. Some of them, I don't even know what it is, because there's nothing. They can't have children with these women. They can't marry these women. It's like there's nowhere to go. But I don't know. I don't know. It's just sad. It's just sad. It says there is talk of sex tourism. If men travel to countries that have less money and education, it is because they want a woman who is dependent on them in terms of their livelihood and resources. This is problematic, says a TikTok user who nobody cares about her. I'm waiting for Congress to act to end TikTok in America. Now, let me just say one thing real quick before I get back to the story. When I lived in China, and even now in China, if you have any media that comes from America that is in any way anti-PRC government or anti-CCP Communist Chinese Party, they automatically ban it. Automatically. The Chinese government literally has a switch where they turn Google off. They have a switch where they turn video game servers off. So guess what? Right now, if you were in China, on Friday night and on weeknights, they actually literally turn game servers off. So if they don't want you playing video games, there's a curfew of sorts, and they just turn that shit off. Now you might say, oh, that's harsh. But guess what? The Chinese government is addressing problems that they're seeing in their young men. You see, the Chinese government isn't satisfied seeing their young men turn into incels and idiots and sitting at home depressed and sitting there playing video games and just sitting there playing Call of Duty Warzone. They're not interested in that. They want their young men to be the most competitive they can be. They want their young men to get women. They want their young men to have children and marry. They want their young men to be productive. The health of the state is live births. So the Chinese government took a few steps, which I outlined a couple of months ago. Number one, they banned effeminate males from television. If you look like an effeminate male, they will not let you on their television at all. Number one. Number two, they banned video game servers after a certain time of day. Number three, on the weekends, social media gets cut off. You may have heard them talking about TikTok. They said TikTok literally makes people stupid. Hey, guess what? We'll use TikTok to make Americans stupid. Stupid Americans. We'll make them stupid. Stupid. That's what we'll do. We'll give them the version that makes them stupid. And then what we'll do is we'll give our people the version that is highly educational. When I was living in China, I was living in Shanghai, I had an apartment at Guoding Road, right down the block from Fudan University. Whenever you turned that television on, there was nothing but educational shows on. No matter what you watched, it was educational. Everything looked like it was National Geographic. Everything was pro-China. Everything was pro-PRC. Everything was pro-CCP. There was no sex. There was no violence. There was no debauchery whatsoever. But guess what? It shows a difference in how the people live. Because here, You already know what your daily routine is like as an American, and you know what the news is like as an American every day. But over in China, it's nothing like that. You see, here, you can read about somebody walking into a grocery store and shooting it up and killing somebody and stealing money. Not over in China. They don't tolerate any of that. I'm getting way off topic, but I feel I have to. So anyway, as far as TikTok goes, Congress needs to hurry up and ban it. If China can ban everything that comes from here, then Congress needs to have balls to ban TikTok here. I want to see Congress ban TikTok just so I see these strags lose their minds, because there's no path of retreat. Facebook won't tolerate them. Instagram won't tolerate them. What is it called? Snapchat. I don't even know how that shit works. So as far as I know, they can't make those stupid ass videos on Snapchat. So anyway, in some videos, the critics describe the women as vulnerable, uneducated, and needy, among other things. The partners of passport bros do not want to leave the accusations like this and defend themselves on social media. So what they're talking about are all of these Filipinas who've come on and defended themselves from these American racists who've attacked them. And the Filipinas and the Thai women have sided with the passport bros against American domestic women right here. Now that right there is a war that I would pay good money to watch on pay-per-view. Okay, whoa, what's this? So Lucky. Ooh, that's nice. That looks like some nice evening wear. Okay, what else? What we got here? Okay, let's get back to Floyd. Okay, come on. I got it. These little pins in iOS, it used to be a little bit easier to use. Okay, the constellation of passport bros is not new. This phenomena is also known in Austria, because what was at first a chance for a woman to a better life and a legal stay in Austria can sometimes rapidly turn into a one-sided dependence. Reasons for this are, among other things, partly a lack of language skills, financial dependence on the partner, no social network, a partly isolated everyday life, sometimes with children at home, and that staying in Austria depends on marriage. The latter can also be used as a means of pressure against her if she wants separation. Let me say this also. As far as the passport Joes or the white passport Joes from places like Germany, places like Austria, one of the issues that they've been having, and I actually read I showed you one of the stories about how there were some countries in Europe where the feminists were trying to gang up and they were trying to make it illegal for these women to come there, but they couldn't pull it off. A lot of those women don't actually want to move to these countries because Europe is dark and cold and it's rainy. And these women are coming from countries that are warm and bright and sunny and vibrant all the time. There's a huge difference between the weather in Thailand and the weather in Germany. There's a huge difference between the weather in Philippines and the weather in Austria. There's a huge difference between the weather in Laos or Cambodia or Vietnam versus the weather in, say, Netherlands. Most of those women do not want to go to those countries, or at least they don't want to stay there because, first of all, physically, they're not used to that kind of climate. Secondly, the only reason why they actually do kind of want to go is because if they can get a job there, they can work and they can send money back home to their parents. Basically, in some cases, these parents use their kids as if they're a retirement plan. So they'll have a bunch of kids and hopefully a couple of their kids will strike it rich of some type and they'll be able to kick money back to the house. Now, I got no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all. And if you do seek foreign love, you'll have to accept the fact that she's planning to send money back home to help her family. And by the way, you should be fine with that because you're looking at someone who's not out for themselves. You're looking at someone who's family oriented. And that's just that. That's what it is. So if you really are a passport bro and this is what you plan on doing, this is something you need to accept. You know, I don't think there's that much of a problem with it, honestly. I really don't. Okay, let's see. Next. Allocation of roles. According to psychotherapist Dana Shifton, looking for partners abroad is basically unproblematic. As long as both parties involved have the same ideas of what a relationship should look like, a classic distribution of roles in which the man goes to work and the woman takes care of children and the household can also have advantages. Yeah, like you can actually have a family where there's a intact household with a mother and a father, and the children are actually mentally healthy. Let me just say this, and I hope I trigger you. If you are raising a single, or I should say, if you're raising children in a single parent household, those children are not mentally healthy. Now, if one of the parents died, that's unavoidable. But the thing about it is that's still mentally unhealthy. That still leads to depression. Single parent households are failures. And they really are. And I know the first thing somebody will do, there's all of these successful single parent. Listen. For every one successful single parent household you can point out, I can point out thousands that weren't successful. They're not. We know they're not. We see the crime rates increasing. We see the violence going down in these schools between these kids and the staff members. We see it every single day. We see the fights that are being videotaped for Snapchat or TikTok. We see it. We know that there's a problem. So don't buy into that feminist rhetoric because it's a lie. And you know it's a lie. Search your feelings, you know them to be true. So anyway, so it is also always clear who bears what responsibility. In modern relationships, on the other hand, this can lead to conflicts. However, it is always important that both partners choose the same model and that both are free to adapt it if necessary. Unfortunately, this is often not the case with people who are from abroad because they are often financially and socially dependent on the partner. Okay. Let's see. Is that Jesus Christ? That's it. Man, that's it. Wow. Well, long story short, or very, very short, I thought that this might have been longer. But I have to say, I wasn't necessarily offended by anything that was said here. In fact, I pretty much agreed with everything that was said. I'm trying to see if I can read this, but I don't think I can because it looks like this is a poll. It says Was something du Zuden passport bros. Totally. It says this is sex tourism. The second one says this is sex tourism. I think the first one says they have a right. I think the third one says something about fraud, like it's a woman or something. I can't read this. I don't know. Somebody here probably speaks German. You can probably read this better than me because this is a poll. I can't translate this because it's not in the right format. So whatever. So basically that's it. I thought that they were going to do more talk about Floyd here, but they didn't. So we got a nice picture of Floyd right there, which I'll probably use as a thumbnail. And then you got a couple of pictures of some other passport bros. But you know what? I got to say, passport bros, I guess it's pretty much understood that right now passport bros is mainstream. I'm seeing all of these, how should I say, articles all over the world now. You're seeing these articles popping up. And now you're getting one from Germany. Before I had one from, what country was that? I had one from Indonesia. And I also had one from Greece in the last couple of videos that I did. So this is absolutely a mainstream thing now. And I have to say, with this German one, it seemed to be fair and balanced. I would say that they're coming from a point where they're learning about it and they're just reporting what looks to be objective facts because they told you the pros, they told you the cons. I didn't really have a problem with it. So that's just what it is. Now, I've some people say, feminism is a disease over there in Europe too, and there's issues over there. But Germany is a defeated country, and once again, the connecting thread between Germany, South Korea, and Japan, the connecting thread is they were all beaten by America. And unfortunately, every single country America goes to, America spreads liberal feminism in those countries. That's just what it is. The traditional marriages, the traditional culture that these countries had before America came there. Now, granted, it was Germany's fault, but once America touches your country, you're screwed. So let that be a lesson to anybody whose country America hasn't touched. Don't let them touch your country, because we will spread this disease, we will spread this virus all over your country, and you will end up just like us. Birth rates, fertility rates, marriage rates, they're looking just like they do in America. They're all down. Divorce rates are up. In fact, you know what? To close out this video, I could actually show you how Germany's doing when it comes to fertility rates. I think that seems fair. Instead of me just saying something, I feel the need to prove it. When I say something, I typically try not to talk out of my ass. The current birth rate for Germany in 2023 is 9.373 births per 1,000 people, a 0.09% decline from 2022. The birth rate for Germany in 2022 was 9.381 births per 1,000 people, a 0.09 decline from 2021. The birth rate for Germany in 2021 was 9.389 births per 1,000 people, a 0.09 decline from 2020. All you got to do is look at the chart and you could see that Germany's birth rate is down. And that's the trend. Now, here's one thing. It says, why are Germany's birth rates so low? Fact, Germany, or I should say Germans, are now living longer and having fewer babies. There are many reasons for the declining birth rate in Germany, from the country's high jobless rates and bleak employment prospects to career pressures to lack of daycare to lifestyle choices. Now, I just did a report about Japan in the last video that I may or may not have cleared yet. I will probably clear it tomorrow because, as you know, YouTube slows down my video processing by they demonetize videos and they force me to cause them to manually review it. That takes up to 24 hours, so it slows me down by about a day. But the thing about it is I'm not making these videos public until they're monetized because I don't work for free. So anyway, let's see. Births, Federal Statistics Office, birth rate drops. No, what I should do is I should look in the newest news. Okay, here we go. Fertility rates in the European Union are plummeting with few exceptions. How about that? How y'all doing over there in Europe, huh? Well, one thing I know y'all not doing is fucking. Okay, a snapshot of birth rate. Look at this. Look at this. You got one baby and he's all alone because these Europeans aren't having children. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the German master race. There are children not being born because their parents are not fucking. All right, never mind. All right, a snapshot of birth rates between 2010 and 2021 in the 27 European Union member states shows that Germany and Hungary have managed to resist the general trend thanks to an increase in birth rates. Okay, so it says Germany and Hungary are resisting the trend, which is funny because they just say your birth rates are down. But what's the date on this? I don't know. Okay, Germany and Hungary. Oh, and by the way, it's funny they mentioned Hungary. I read a report recently, within the last couple of months. Hungary was actually offering subsidies to try to convince women to have more children. They said that if you had, I believe it was 3 or 4 kids or something like that, they would give you a minivan. And I did that video, article, whatever. I made a video about an article and I already showed it. But if you look it up, Hungary, minivan, those are the search words. Hungary, minivan, childbirth. And it should pop right up. But they were trying to get people to have children by offering them subsidies. They were offering them money, and they were offering them minivans. So I think that's how they're trying to change the trend, by basically handing out welfare. And this is the reason why you get a welfare state, because you start handing out welfare, and then the next thing you know, your entire society ends up like the Roman Empire. So anyway, as China's demographic course reverses for the first time since 1961, with birth falling by almost 10% in 2022, Europe faces at least one certainty in this regard. 1 in 3 citizens lives in a region that has experienced a population decline over the past decade. Migration has failed to mitigate the decline in southern and rural areas. Deaths have exceeded births in many countries. Eurostat estimates that 190,000 fewer children will be born in 2030 than in 2021. However, not all nations will end the decade in the negative. The territorial disparities within the European Union, highlighted by the European Commission in the 8th report on socio-economic territorial cohesion, are also seen in birth trends from 2010 to 2021 across the 27 member states. Sold 24 or compiled Eurostat data and supplemented them with the most recent nationalist statistic. If the cradle is the natural engine of demographic recovery, the research confirms few so far have managed to avoid the trap of a collapsing youth population. So what is this saying? You've got a problem with these kids. You've got a serious problem with these kids. And it's not hard to figure out. They're having the exact same problems that all the West is having. High cost of living, expensive, expensive housing. Basically, they just said jobless rates are high. And then obviously, coming out of this global pandemic, you're still in a state of stagflation. The news is going to keep lying to you, and they're going to keep saying that you're not in a recession. We already know you are. In fact, it's worse than a recession. You're really in a state of stagflation, but they won't say that. Half of you wouldn't know what it meant even if they did say it. So that's just where you are. So, it continues. It goes on and on and on and on. And then it shows the births per 1,000 inhabitants. As you can see, what is this? Czechia, EU 27. I think that's the average. Romania's down. Denmark's down. Ireland's way down. Sweden's down. Slovakia's down. Slovenia's down. Estonia's down. Netherlands is down. Belgium's down. Hungary is slightly up. Germany is slightly up, according to this trend line. Bulgaria is down. Latvia is down. Austria is down. Croatia's down. Finland's down, which is amazing to me. Because when you've got women like Vladislava over there, what's her name? Vladislava? When you got women like that over there, I can't understand how your birth rates decline. I can't understand that. I mean, if you even have one of them over there, there's got to be more. I don't know what y'all are doing over there. Y'all must not be doing anything. Greece is down. Luxembourg down. Portugal down. Lithuania down. Poland down. Cyprus down. Italy down. Spain down. Malta down. Maybe what I really should do is someday I should actually go on a European tour. Because if these people keep up this trend, there won't be a Europe left by the time I get ready to go to Europe. So basically, they're showing that there's only 3 countries that were even slightly up. Hungary, Germany, Austria. But their birth rate is still down when compared to what it was 3 to 5 years ago. So even though it's slightly up recently, it's still down. How about that? Well, European Union, I don't know what you guys are going to do. I mean, Russia's over there flattening Ukraine right now, and y'all can't even turn your heat up because y'all gotta save gas and save energy and save electricity and save oil and everything. So I don't know what y'all are going to do. If I were you, I'd get my passports and I'd get the hell out of there. But where you going to go? I don't know. So, it sucks. But, that's the story. That's the story. So, As I mentioned in the last video, I think passport bros just might be the answer. Because the thing about it is you've got so many of these men in the West who are plagued by having horrible women that they can't deal with and don't want to deal with. And all they got to do is get their passport. They come over there, do a little bit of speed dating. There's more than enough for you women over there in, what is it called, Belarus. There's more than enough for y'all left over there in, like, Moldova. And the thing about it is, with just a little bit of adjusting to the culture of these American men, they just might be the answer for you, because obviously your own men aren't helping y'all out because all of your birth rates are way down. So I would say that what y'all need to do is get yourself a passport bro. Because if these trends continue, you know how, like, when you watch Star Trek, you watch these movies about the future, you know how they always show all of these people from Europe and everybody got a British accent? Well, chances are that shit ain't going to happen, because there's not going to be none of y'all left. In fact, judging from these rates, I think the only movie y'all are going to be in, European Union, I think you're going to be in that movie like with Clive Owen, what was it called, Children of Men, where there's so few babies being born that whenever a baby's born, everybody stops and looks because they haven't seen or heard a baby in a long time. I think you guys are doomed. So the reality is, passport bros just might be your answer. This is America. We've got, 20 million black men looking for a wife? We've got, there's 330 million Americans, and I would say out of that, there's probably about 60 million white men who are looking for a wife. Hey, I think passport bros just might be your answer. Because according to these trend lines, ain't going to be none of you left.
Don't you want to be with a woman that is worldly, educated, well-traveled, can bring something to the table, rather than somebody that has absolutely no idea about anything in life and really can't contribute anything outside of just being a woman?
The idea of being well-traveled is a giant red flag for most men. Because typically, when a woman, if I look at a woman's Instagram page and I see pictures of her on a private jet, on a yacht, in multiple different fancy locations, she's in Mykonos here, she's in Paris, she's in Dubai, she's in New York, my immediate assumption is this woman is a hoe.
These women are poor and vulnerable.
Easier to manipulate.
Know their place.
Disadvantage.
Are in dire financial need.
They want their visas.
They have to be quiet. They don't know better. That's why you have to go to developing countries to try to take their women. And it sickens me. And
Yes, they'll do what you say.
she is in a dire situation.
Because she doesn't know about much in life.
They have to bow and scrape at these men's feet. If you are a man and brag about go to underprivileged third world countries to get a wife,
An obedient wife.
you are a predator.
Dive on the passport bros phenomenon, and here's an insight that a lot of people miss. The way these men are leaving their own countries to go to lower income countries to find wives, and they say that it's because the women there are more feminine and they really value femininity in a woman. They say that the women in their own countries, they're not as feminine anymore, they're masculine, and they just don't want that in a partner. But then I look around me, my neighbors, my friends, and a lot of the women here are feminine, they're beautiful, they have a soft feminine aura, they treat their men well, they cook, they clean, they do everything. And then I realized that I'm in a high income neighborhood and their husbands, they're high earners. This just highlights how femininity has become a luxury in the US. Because it has become a luxury that a lot of men cannot afford, they go to places where femininity is the norm and not luxury. And that's okay, good for them. Bottom line is, if you're a feminine woman, you get the best pick of men in any society.
The worst part about going to a foreign country is not knowing what to do, not knowing where to have fun, not having any guides, not having anyone to be with, being lonely, not knowing what to do from day to day. One of the worst things you can ever feel in a foreign country is loneliness. Sometimes you go to a foreign country, you don't have friends who've gone with you. Maybe you're an expatriate. Maybe you're a worker in a foreign country. Perhaps you're in Vietnam. Perhaps you go to Vietnam, outsourced by your IT company, and you don't know what to do or who to meet. Well, Vietnamese Wingman or VietnamWingman.com is here to help you. If you're looking for friends, language partners, relationships, marriage, Vietnamese Wingman VietnamWingman.com is here to help you to have a great time in Vietnam, meet somebody, meet a friend, meet a woman, meet a wife. They are here to help you do that. So check out Vietnam Wingman and enjoy the rest of the story.
Well, hello everybody. I'm from Thai.
I'm from the Philippines.
We're sitting here long ass time for our passport to come in. So where are you?
We're waiting for the passport, bro.
Don't hate.
To be continued.